Yeah, good afternoon. We are still at the Gardener's World Spring Fair at Beaulieu. The sun is still out. It's a lovely day. And we've just been joined by Sue Kent. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Isn't it wonderful to see the sun?
Absolutely. And it's wonderful to have you here as well, because you've had quite a journey, haven't you, from lockdown?
Yes, 4 years ago when, the Gardener's World team couldn't send their film crews out, they asked viewers to send in their videos. And I've always wanted to sort of join in the programme, so I sent my video in and it went from there.
Not surprised. I mean, I've watched some of your YouTube videos as well, and you really are an inspiration with all the tools and different things as well. And also something else I learned that I didn't know is you're teaching people to massage with your feet.
Well, I've been a sports massage therapist for 14 years before, I went on the telly with the Gardener's World and I had a career change. But yeah, so that was, my prime work, and I've really enjoyed it for many years, but I was getting a bit tired and being stuck inside. So I swapped when Gardener's World took off for me in 2021, I think, into a full-time gardening career, and it's just lovely to be outside.
I was going to say, how did you go from massage therapy to the gardening? How did you get into that and then go from there?
I've been gardening for 35 years in my own home, and so when I got the video on Gardener's World Live and they offered me more work, I tried to run the two for some time, and then I had to do a show garden for Hampton Court, and it all became too much. So I had a choice to make, but I was winding down with the massage anyway. It's quite a physical job, and as I got older, I was finding it more and more difficult, and COVID really knocked the fun out of it. So it was a sort of a lovely transition, and I didn't want to retire. I didn't want to stop working. To find a new career, at my age, is just great.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing I was going to say, which has just escaped my mind now, but so did they contact you? You sent your video in. And
I sent a video in with a cliffhanger, just talking about tools and my raised vegetable beds, but telling them that my garden, because you only had 2 minutes, you had to send a video, or 5 minutes, saying that my other garden was a whole other story. So then they rang me and they said, can you just video the rest of your garden? And then they said, we like your video, but we want to do a different one. We can't come and see you, so we're going to direct you from afar. We've never done this. So I had to film myself. I had to be the sound man, the film crew, the runner, the editor. And I sent them lots of film, and then they put it together. And they loved it so much, they were talking about possibly doing some more. And then the reaction that they got from the general public, who I will love forever, was so positive that within 2 minutes they were ringing me and saying, we're going to do more films. And it went from there.
But it's just fantastic. From that call you got, you must have thought, is it really them? Who's this on the line? It's incredible.
Well, I do believe if you don't put yourself out there, things are not going to happen. You cannot just wait for these. And they said, please, viewers, send in their videos. I'd always wanted to be on Gardener's World. Now was my chance. I didn't think it would lead to a career. I thought it would be one-off. But, you never know unless you put yourself out here, you're not going to find out what's around.
Absolutely. And how has it changed your life since being on the programme? What's changed for you?
Skill set from using my feet and being very intimate and caring for one individual at a time. I'm now talking to hundreds of people and sharing my knowledge in a different way. So I'm learning to be a presenter. I'm upping my public speaking skills. I've become an author this year, but I love learning and I love expanding my mind, and I love new things because you never get bored then. Your brain's really stimulated, so it really does suit me. Anything new comes my way, it's like, let's take nearly anything. I do have my limits.
I was going to ask about your book, actually, because it's notes, isn't it? You're making
it's called Garden Notes. So it's full of the things that I think are useful for people, the things that I forget, how to fire plants, plant my leeks, and how, why are my leaves going yellow, what do I need to feed it? And then lots of room for people to make notes of their own garden, the seeds that they record, the seeds they sow, and the plants and bulbs and where they put them, graph paper to design new borders. Because I'm a sports massage therapist, there is, stretches to warm up for gardening, and I came across so many people with gardening injuries, 5 basic, put yourself back together stretches. So it's very sectionalised note-taking, and it means that the individual who buys the book will have a record of their garden, history and what they've done, and they won't forget their plant names, and they won't forget where they pluck their bulbs in the spring. So I use it. I'd already designed it before I was asked. I was always had my one copy that I was using because I couldn't couldn't find anything else on the market. So I'm proud of it, and it's called Sue Kent Garden Notes, and it's available from Amazon.
See, I think that's brilliant that you've managed to incorporate both the massaging and the gardening as well. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think it makes it so it's different and it's fresh on the market, as you said. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And of course, with gardening, you do need a massage after it as well, don't you?
Because
strenuous work.
When I first started gardening and I didn't know what I was doing, I gave myself I was gardening on a slope, standing on one leg, and I had terrible back and hip problems, and that led me to have massage and to realise how beneficial massage was. But then it led to me realising if the garden is causing you physical damage, you either need to move or you need to redesign your garden. So I redesigned, I took out these slopes and made terracing, and gardening on a level is so much better for you, especially if you stand on one leg.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any time in the early days of your garden, I want to take you right back to not professional here, but when you're doing your garden as a hobby, any times that things were so difficult that you thought, I'm going to give up?
This is my slope. So I have a 60-foot long, 15-foot deep slope, and it was full of shrubs, and I literally going outside of my door, completely overwhelmed. It's like a no-go zone after a while. I just couldn't, my back had gone, I couldn't keep up. And so that's when I got some extra money, because it costs a lot to redesign. I made it into terracing, and that changed my life. It changed my garden's life. It changed my husband's life. It just made, and I simplified the planting, and I had gaps. It's called negative space in between the planting, so I could reach all the plants. And it's a beautiful area, and I'm totally proud. And that's what actually gave me the confidence to go and put my video into garden as well, because I knew I could do it because I'd done it.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. An absolute inspiration as well. Like I said, I've watched some of your videos that you put online as well.
How to put your socks on. That's it. I get a lot of disabled people now ask me with their children going, can you help me? I've seen you on the telly. How do you put your socks on? I go, off to YouTube with you. There's a video for that one.
Definitely. And people watching you on telly and listen to all your advice, and it's just incredible. You're an inspiration to lots of people. So thank you very much.
It's great to sort of stop if you're having a problem and don't get overwhelmed. Think what the problem is. Try and define it. Try and find its key features and then change them to suit you. And it may take a bit of money. It may take a bit of time. But enjoy the process. Don't think you're defeated. It's time for new opportunities. When something isn't working, time for new opportunities.
Absolutely. I find the process is the most fun part of it all. Do you find now, because you're so much more busy now, do you have time to focus on your own garden?
I stepped back from doing the garden design projects. I did 2 in 2 years, and so I focused on my garden because it needed a redesign, and so I'm really trying to focus on that. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. So often find me up at 5 in the morning, doing stuff. So, but I'm trying to get the balance. It's difficult.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
My garden definitely needs a new redesign. It's one of these. It's one of these things where you look at it and you just think, it's just too much.
It's just too much. I think not being afraid of not planting or block planting, the same thing. If it's a good plant, it's going to come up and give you like 6 weeks of spectacularness. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. As long as it's got leaves and things going on for the rest of the year, just accept that balance. Do a bit of block planting, and something like Japanese anemones, they come up, they're green all that year, they suppress all the weeds, there's nothing to do, they flower in August, September, you just cut them back. And if you put a statue in it gives, or something like that, something of interest in the border that isn't flowery, that will make that whole section, nothing to do.
That's true. It's true. And it's got to work for you. The garden's got to work for you. So whatever
I'm always
it is.
into trying to find a way that reduces my workload.
You're very busy now. Very popular. I thought when you said about how has your life changed since doing the Gardeners World TV, I thought you could say, I can't go shopping anymore, I can't walk down the street.
The thing is,
can you give me some advice?
A disabled person, I'm stared at a lot because I look very different. I'm used to people coming up to me and talking to me. I'm used to people staring at me. So this is just that part of it is nothing.
No, I'm kind of the other way around.
Yeah.
Because I'm registered blind.
Right.
But there's nothing to see, and so people expect you to be functioning normally, kind of thing. As a visually a full-sighted person. And so when I look at my garden, I have to think about trip hazards and things like that. So it's really designed.
I got a hole in my eye. I got something called Meniere's disease in 2017, and before that I didn't feel disabled. And then all of a sudden I lost hearing in my left ear, and I got a hole in my eye. They fixed it, but I've still got a blank bit. and I got cataracts, and I found the visual problem of my garden, and that's why we sort of redesigned the steps, because we were expecting me to fall. And we painted the edge of the steps. We put daisies on the edge of the step, because I couldn't see where one step ended and another began. So, but again, it's really interesting. How are we going to solve this problem? How are we going to make it so we're safe in the garden?
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Unless we don't move. We either have to move or do something about this, because I'll die down these steps.
My husband, it was like, I was going, can we move? And my husband was going, no, I want to die in this house. And I was going, right, well, what do we have to do? You die in it, I'll go off somewhere and get a nice bungalow.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. It's absolute inspiration talking to you yourself.
Yeah, it's been brilliant meeting you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you.